It is 6 p.m. and we are going to get started for our regular meeting of the Parks, Recs, and Trails Commission, Thursday, February 4th, 2016. I'll call the meeting to order, and Madam Clerk, would you please take roll?
Commissioner Gaunt?
Here.
Commissioner Croy?
Here.
Chairman Zimmerman?
Here.
Vice Chairman Goodroyce?
Here.
Commissioner Rosen?
Here. And if Commissioner Rosen would kindly lead us in the flag salute, please.
Let's begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I believe this is going to be a shorter meeting because we don't have a whole lot of agenda items, but it is important for us to do some introductions as well as take care of some of the things that we're doing. And in the future, just so everybody knows, if there's only one agenda item or two and they can wait, it's in everybody's best interest for us to postpone those meetings and just double them up at the following one. So that may happen in the future. It almost happened on this one, but we did find that there was a presentation from Audie Murphy on some trails, and that's worthwhile, so we went ahead and decided to call this meeting. So here we are today.
Presentation from Audie?
Well, it's some information is one of our agenda items, yeah. Anyway, so with that, let's move to item 4, and that is presentations, the introduction of new department employees. Robert?
Thank you, Chair Zimmerman and Commissioners. Good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce to the Commission introduction of 2 new team members of the Community Services Department. As you recall, we had the exit of a couple of our analysts to join other departments in the city that were in need. However, we were still in great need, and so this was an opportunity for us to go out and recruit some of the brightest and most experienced professionals in the industry, which I do believe we were able to achieve. First up, I want to introduce the gentleman to my right. His name is Joe Solano. He comes with 22 years of experience in landscape maintenance, park maintenance. He's been working in the city of Riverside, both in their Park and Recreation Department as well as most recently in Riverside Public Utilities, doing project management, construction, routine maintenance, and much more. So Joe, I have worked with in the past during my time in Riverside. Obviously, I've not seen him for many years, but seems as though he hasn't missed a beat, he hasn't missed a step, and he's picking up very quickly. And so we'll be seeing a lot of our construction projects move forward, as you will note from many of the contract awards we bring your way for recommendation, as well as just the progress reports that you'll get on a monthly basis. So I'll actually turn it over to him just to say a few words before I introduce the other employee as well.
Well, thank you. I'm very excited to be here. Been here 2 weeks as of today. There's a lot of stuff going on, and we've, I believe, kind of accomplished a lot of things, getting ready to push a lot of stuff going out the door as far as the security cameras at Audie Murphy Skate Park, the fencing that got a little push, so we should start seeing something there here in the next week or so. We also have the logos for the monuments that should start up. I believe cord drilling on those signs will be on Thursday. But there's a lot of good stuff going on here. I'm excited to, get all this stuff pushed out and ready to go. So again, I just want to thank Robert for giving me the opportunity. Like he said, we've worked well before at the City of Riverside. So it's just a pleasure of coming back and working with him. And I think we have a good, exciting team, small but mighty, and we'll get a lot of stuff done. So, once we get everything going and I get acclimated to all the policies and procedures and the financial stuff and all that good stuff, we're going to just move right along. So, thank you for having me.
That's great. Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Will Mr. Solano be working here at City Hall, or is he going to be at Community Services?
Both employees will be over at Community Services.
Okay.
Next up is, as you've already mentioned, Madam Clerk, who's going to serve in that capacity at every single commission meeting, but also our department's main analyst on board to help me with budget and administrative functions in our main office, processing AP, AR, billing, you name it. She's going to be that jack of all trades. Bruni Reyes joins us also from the city of Riverside. Totally different departments, though. She has 16 years experience working in the city manager's office, budget office, development departments. She's done quite a lot of different things. And so she's already started in the last couple weeks trying to refine our policies and procedures, getting us, so to speak, in line, which is what I've tasked her with, and further legitimizing the business we do on a daily basis. So I'm really excited to have her here. I haven't had the luxury of working with her before, but certainly in the same city, and she did have and still has a great reputation. So, Bruni, if you want to say a few words.
Just want to echo everything that Joe said. I'm very happy to be here. There's lots of things going on in Menifee, and I'm very excited to be a part of it. So, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bruni, can you spell your name for me?
It's Bruni.
Okay.
Bill, just
I knew I had it
quick
wrong.
comment. Is it appropriate to call you Madam Clerk?
Or
Or
Miss?
is it,
What do you prefer?
You can just call me Bruni. I'm okay with that. It's okay.
Sometimes when we're in these meetings and we ask you to do something, we'd say Miss Clerk or Madam Clerk. And so
During a meeting, Madam Clerk would be okay. But
All right, very good. Thank you.
thank you.
All right, well, welcome, and we're looking forward to working with all you guys. I think you'll find this commission is kind of easygoing, and
We will have questions.
that's true, yeah. Yeah. All right, very good. So do we have any other changes or modifications to our agenda for tonight?
None.
All right, I'm sorry, you're right. We do need to take a look at our minutes. Item 5, and that was from January 21st. Are there any revisions? I did have one, but yeah, let me make a quick move, and I note your move there, Marty. I'm going to make a quick revision on page 2. It says Commissioner Gaunt questioned the crossing at Winchester and Bradley. I think that she might have meant Murrieta. Is it?
Yeah.
So both Murrieta Road and Bradley Road. So if we could change Winchester to say Murrieta, and then a little lower, the third paragraph up from the bottom on page 2, it says Commissioner Rosen was talking about staging areas for people to park, and if we could change people to say equestrian users, and that way we understand why people would be leaving trailers there. We're talking about equestrians. So anyway, with those, we do have
I move that we accept the minutes with the modifications.
okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Croy. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. We are approved for our meeting minutes. And then we don't have any modifications to the agenda. I don't see any public members here for comments. So let's move to item 8 for discussion items. Robert, would you please, maybe we can just cut to the chase on this and make it quick. I think currently we have Commissioner Gaunt and Commissioner Rosen
Rosen
and Gidroy.
Myself.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
You're right. And if you guys are enjoying it, maybe in the essence of trying to keep some continuity going, do you guys agree that we ought to just keep them on board?
I was so moved to that.
Okay, we have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor to keep Commissioner Gidroy and Rosen on the MCAC, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we're moving right along. Item 8.2, Audie Murphy Ranch North Conceptual Trail Plan. Robert, can you give us an update on that?
Absolutely. Thank you. Before you is a conceptual landscape design plan presented by, submitted by applicant Brookfield Residential for Audie Murphy Ranch North. And when they say north, hold on, I got to turn on my clicker. Maybe. Okay, we'll do it manually. You can go to next slide. Audie Murphy Ranch North. What I have on the screen here in front of you is the overall trail and bike plan for the Audie Murphy Ranch specific plan. When we refer to north, in this case, it's everything on the north side of Newport. However, the segments that are being presented today for consideration are those that are north of Newport but south of Normandy. So you hit the next click through once. And what I've done here is overlaid the trail master plan that was completed partially by the Trails Commission, and then recommendations for additional trails that have been done through the Parks Master Plan recently. And what you see, I know there's no key on here because we extrapolated this from the map and did an overlay. The red, it represents the community trails, and the blue represents the regional trails. And just so the commission remembers, the difference between the two, community trails are 8-foot wide DG, and regional trails are 10-foot wide DG. Both are can either be curb adjacent or next to meandering sidewalk. It really doesn't matter. There are a variety of trail cross sections that work. You can click once more. The area, though, that is in review today is everything that's inside of the red box, the red square box or rectangular box there. Some of the alignment is not accurate from the master plan because the streets aren't necessarily populated on the master trails map like they are in the specific plan, as some of these came online after the larger trails map was established. So this just gives you an idea of where this is all occurring. Next slide. If you zoom in, and all of these are in the handouts that are provided to you and within your staff report, the street that's running east-west along the top of the screen is Normandy. And then, of course, then you see the blue strip that goes diagonally across the screen. That's actually a Salt Creek Trail. That was the same trail that the county presented the commission at the last meeting. And so really what's in question is the area between the blue and south of Normandy. And the light green is the trail system that they are proposing for consideration. The reason why they are interested in getting this portion approved as soon as possible is it is a condition of approval of their grading permit for all the right-of-way. So they are eager to move forward. Next. The first comment that staff had on the trail plan submittal was the incorporation of a community trail along Normandy from Getz all the way over to the PA 30 park. And that park you all did review, I believe, about 3 meetings ago, if not 4 meetings ago. That seems to have been left off this conceptual trail plan. So staff's first note is to ensure that does get incorporated in this review. So when they submit their second round on the conceptual, we should see that noted. Next. First segment of this is the area along Getz. As you can see, the lower portion that is adjacent to Salt Creek Trail. They are proposing a trail that runs north-south on the west side of Getz. And again, your handout probably does a better job of conveying this. And then it would make a right turn on this new Audie Murphy road running east-west all the way along until it reaches the PA 30 park. This is just the lower portion of it to give you an idea of how that would look. It is a straight DG along Getz, 10-foot wide DG trail. If you can hit the next. And then along Audie Murphy Road, it is an 8-foot community trail. Believe the proposal they've submitted includes 10-foot on both. Now, it certainly is the prerogative of the commission and the city to accept it 10 on both. However, it would not be consistent with our design preference on the trails plan. It wouldn't be a bad thing. It just means that there's more DG, wider trail. So next. And of course, there's the 10-foot one as well. Typical cross section at Getz would look like this, with the far left side being the western edge, and then the slope side there being the eastern edge. As you can see, there's the incorporated 10-foot trail, 2-rail or 3-rail vinyl separating it from a 5-foot concrete sidewalk before the street trees and planters. And then, of course, 34 feet of right-of-way with a 5-foot bike lane. And then, obviously, on the other side of median, a similar setup without a DG trail. You should note, though, that after the right-of-way beyond that 27-foot on the east side is the city of Canyon Lake. So this is really the city border right here. Next. As we move along, though, and
Robert,
yes,
we got a quick question.
Question.
sure,
I see a bicyclist in that last slide before this. What do we got there?
go back. Just the arrow back should do it on the keyboard. There you go. Yes.
On the side on the left there, there's a bicyclist 5 foot.
Mm-hmm.
So that runs the whole length it gets, or how far up and down does that go?
The whole length of Getz. The bike plan does call for it to continue that far, from Newport all the way up till you reach McLaughlin in the end. And certainly there's some realignment that is in store. You may recall the Cimarron Ridge project.
Right, we were going to have to reroute.
Correct. And that will the alignment then will meet this and continue that bike lane all the way up.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is the first segment of the Paseo, the south side. Again, your handout probably puts this into better perspective. What you'll note is they did include a decorative fence around the lower basin element, which is the blue perforated outline there, with the maintenance access gate. However, it appears that they did not continue the same feature on that linear basin that starts here with this concrete culvert and then continues with a swale running north. Our staff recommendation is to include some sort of gate around that as well. This has become a more recent concern as there is a basin currently at Spirit Park, which is intended to mitigate on site and then perk out within 42 to 70 or 48 to 72 hours. Unfortunately, with the big, storm events, that water sits for a while and it can become a safety issue. Not terribly much so for vector control, but more so for small children who are playing in the playground, not but 50 feet away. So our recommendation is to include a fence around this as well, and then also add pet waste stations throughout the paseos and trails. Right now, they've only specified benches and trash cans, and we want to ensure that they include waste stations, as most folks like to take their pets out on the walk as well. Next.
Robert, that fencing, is that like tubular steel or what do you?
Yeah, there is some flexibility in that. They can do tubular steel, they can do wrought iron. They can. We keep it fairly open, but it does have to be safety grade, and depending on the depth, and you'll see in the future slide how deep that is. But
Thank you.
the same comments on the rest of this, continuing up that basin all the way to the top. We're looking for some sort of fence component to incorporate, as well as waste stations going along. They are proposing the same trellis style that you've seen at the other parks, Spirit Park, the sports park, so long as it's contained only to the DG walkways and not the on the right side of the basin. You see a much wider DG section that's for maintenance access. As long as it's not included there, staff is fine with that, so we can have access with the standard pickup truck for maintenance.
Good.
Next. You will recognize this as PA30 from a previous review. You can click the next slide. We've asked in our comments for the applicant to include pedestrian access across the basin because, as you'll note from I think the second page of your handout, that east-west running community trail, it needs connection into the park and then continuing all the way out to where it meets up with the current alignment of Normandy. Right now, as it stands, that east-west trail along Normandy would stop at that cul-de-sac, and currently we have no detail on how folks walking that trail get into the park without having to walk all the way down to the bottom end until it meets up with Audie Murphy Road to get into the park or to the other side of the park. So, any questions on that?
Is yes, I do have a question. So what you're talking about, this pedestrian access, it's going to be crossing the basin, and are you looking for a bridge or something that's up with with maybe some pipes underneath it, or a culvert or something, or what do you got in mind?
Exactly. We're going to leave it up to the applicant to be creative in that case. Part of this is that we don't know the flow calculations at all here,
Okay.
and so that will drive what kind of improvement they want to put in. If we can go backward to I think the second slide. One more. There we go. So the area in question is the right side of the yellow line is where really that terminates right now at a cul-de-sac. But again, there's no clear detail on the submittal about how people get from the cul-de-sac into the park. So yes, we want some sort of pedestrian bridge or, drainage, overcrossing, whatever, to get into the park.
It'll need to be disability friendly.
Yes.
Of course, that goes without saying, they'll know that. Okay.
Has to be ADA compliant.
So an Arizona type crossing down in and back up again is probably not going to be acceptable.
Probably not, only because from a maintenance perspective, that's just a lot more work for us to take care of within the CFD when we do have an event.
Okay.
May I make a suggestion that
Yeah.
it be obviously of a Western theme to match?
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, next. One more. Okay, and here is the cross-section of the basins within those paseos and the one long paseo. As you can see, there's a 3-to-1 and then a 4-to-1 at the widest point. And we want to ensure that once there is standing water in there isn't any opportunity for, children who live in the community to wander and find their way into it. And so we want them to add a fence to the cross section so we can get a good understanding of what it'll look like. That concludes my review of the plans and incorporates all the comments that staff has had. I'll also include what was mentioned this evening and send it back to the applicant, but I'd be happy to answer any more questions you might have.
Quick question. Will the water that's going to be irrigating the plants along this be recycled? Is that in their design?
Yes, it is. That's a requirement from EMWD now. Anything that is not going to be active recreation, meaning not sports fields, it can be, it should be, especially for point-to-point recycle water.
Okay. Thank you.
And the area, the whole specific plan is already required to be dual plumbed. In case they don't have infrastructure to have the recycled on site yet, it will be in the very near future. I haven't checked with the EMWD to see how far they've had that backbone go, but I know they've been working on it.
Yeah, because the same thing's going to carry forward with future developments going right up Getz.
That's correct.
Okay.
one quick question for you. Also, at the connection points, like on Ani Murphy Road, where somebody may want to cross from the Salt Creek Trail back up into that trail there, do they have any plans? What kind of crossings? Or is it going to?
Yeah, the comments the commission provided when we reviewed the PA 40E and PA 30 included some comments about that crossing and ensuring that the signal has a push button for, I think it was for equestrians as well as pedestrians
Yeah.
across Audie Murphy Road.
Yeah. I've seen those types of crossing up, like up on Blaine and Riverside, where somebody pushes a button and it's actually, it seems like it's in the paint where those lights come on.
Mhm.
It just seems that would make sense there. There and at the one towards the middle there.
Okay.
Anybody else have any comments or?
And I agree with you that the extra trail needs to go along Normandy because that makes a nice loop. And I think that's what most people want when they get out and hike. They want to be able to make a loop.
I agree.
What do you need from us?
Your comments are sufficient for the item.
So we don't need to,
I'll toss in one more. if the trail is going to be friendly for equestrians, we'll need watering someplace along a trail of this length.
That would be nice.
Say that one more time.
We need some kind of water for the equestrians,
Like a-
someplace along the trail.
A fountain or?
Fountain where their horse could be watered.
Okay.
I would suggest that. Rick, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I don't know how friendly that would be, but perhaps a trough underneath so that, I mean, I don't know many horses that can drink from a fountain.
Trough would just be standing water, you might have bugs and things.
No, but I would get rid of it as soon as I was finished. Whatever. Yeah.
I got a question, Robert, regarding the paseos. I believe earlier you were saying we're recommending putting tubular steel fencing or some kind of fencing all the way along that paseo.
Mhm.
And so what that would do is preclude any activity in there, frisbee golf or something like that. And I hope that we're not, being too restrictive and making it so that it's not able to be used.
No, in fact, the preference is that it not be used for active recreation because of how thin it is and how deep the bottom is. The intent here is also to ensure that they are only using credit that's due to them for that type of improvement. In other words, the way it's being presented is very different than the linear park that runs east-west, where there are more active features like parkour fitness stations. This is purely just a walking trail, and as such, they would not be eligible to receive park diff credit or for that improvement. They could get the trail diff credit, but not the park diff credit.
Understood. And so is this considered an MS4 or part of?
I don't know that yet because they haven't submitted the final calculations on the intended use of that basin. So,
Okay. I'm just wondering if they would be required to have riprap in that bottom part to slow the water.
another reason why we want to ensure that it's gated and not used for active recreation in the bottom. Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Gidroy, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I noticed this earlier. There's a combo wall that runs along on the map in several places, and that's going to be right adjacent to the trail. I can't tell from this.
Which section are you referring to?
I'm looking here where the map where we've got Comanche Creek and we've got Salt Creek below it. South of Normandy, it's CLP-2. You got a little key here, number 11, high combo wall with tube fence on top of block wall.
Yeah, that's at the property line for each lot, and that's purely to separate the private property from the public improvement.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. So the trail is going to abut this? The trail's going to be set back from it?
Set back from it. In fact, the trail that is, I guess you could say, adjacent to that is the Salt Creek Trail. That's not the that's not the developer's
okay.
trail.
So
There's a
trail-
slope that's also there. So you see, there's that wall. Then there's about I think it's 15 feet or so of sloped landscaped area, and then there's the Salt Creek Trail
Oh,
just next to
okay,
that.
Of course, I see it.
That
Yeah,
makes
so you got all
sense,
these
yeah.
trees and slope in there.
Yes.
I get it.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Are they using native plants? I read the names of the plants. I didn't recognize a one. I don't speak Latin.
Yeah, the typical plant palette that's included here is one they pulled from Riverside County acceptable plant list, the same that are listed in our design standards. When we get to the working drawings, we can fine tune that further because as we've seen on a quarterly basis, it seems like some plants tend to do better than others on the list. And as we experiment more and more, we find that some aren't ideal. Case in point, the flax that we had them install in the parks, in the last two parks, didn't do well during the cold season, so we've discontinued having those included.
Okay.
No palm trees, please.
And no palms, yes.
All right, very good. Thank you for the presentation. Sounds like the commission's in support of staff's other recommendations along Normandy Road and the connection to that rec facility. So, with that, we will move on to agenda item number 9, Community Services Director comments.
For 9-1, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Parks Landscape Maintenance Superintendent Joe Solano.
Well, since I've been here for a short time, I can only give you a couple updates, but I'm going to defer to the supervisor, Mark Cooper, for him to give you updates on the stuff that he's been working on. Mark?
Yeah, 9-1.
Actually, that would be me in a sense, but the capital improvements, I was talking earlier, the skate park cameras. We're going to meet with the contractor out there on Tuesday morning to get a better timeline on the cameras installation. All the cameras and the parts are in. We'll be go ahead and trying to get a good timeline as to when the cameras will start going in. I'm really pushing for us to get it started on Tuesday, but maybe Wednesday or Thursday on that one. The other component is the fence around the skate park. There's a delay on the gate, the turnstile gate, on the specifics of that. So I think we're waiting. We're going to have a 8-week turnaround for that to be ordered and received. So that part of that project will be delayed a little bit. Fence contractor will be out Tuesday, the 9th, to start doing the welding of the flat bar around the middle of the skate park wrought iron, so the kids won't bend them or the residents won't bend them. And then he's also working on the top extension of that. So he had to do a little bit more measuring. Some of the measurements initially weren't right, so they were out there last week, and he's got a little bit measurements. So they'll be building some of the panels. They're on site and some in the shop. They're punching the top rail to accommodate the pickets that'll come up on top of that. I will be able to give you a little bit better time frame on that. That's another project that I took on, and I'm trying to get the contractor back online and get that project back online. The monument signs, or the branding of the monument signs in the park, talked to the contractor today. He'll be out next Thursday to core drill. That'll be a complete day for him to core drill all the monuments. I believe there's 6. And then he ordered the monument signs today, so that's 3-week lead time on that. Once they come in, he'll start epoxying those in, and then our staff will go in there and do the graffiti application to the monuments themselves. I think that's the
Picnic shelter.
the picnic shelter demo. I don't have an update on that one yet. I know that project and all the other projects just got handed to me this morning.
You're not done with them yet?
Not yet, but I'm close. And as I'm, studying and figuring out what the timeline's going to be, I'll be able to give you a little bit better update on that. I've actually started working on the picnic shelter equipment inventory, so I'll try to get some of that out next week. We'll try to get the 3 bids and get our POs ready to go for those and get them ordered. We're still waiting on a decision on the Paloma Wash asphalt slurry. So once we get a decision on that, we should be able to move on that right away. Received 2 checks. I believe one is for the Audie Murphy bathroom sewer connection, and we're also working on the sewer connection for the Rancho Ramona Park. Yes, I got that one right. So I'll be able to, again, in the next coming week, I'll be able to really work on these and get a good timeline as to what's going on with them, and I'll be able to give you a little bit better update on those in the next week or 2 weeks from now. So I'm hoping that we really start pushing these out and get them going. Thank you.
Quick question, Robert will probably know. The cameras are going to be taping? Are they just going to be live feed? What do you got there?
I assume you're talking about the cameras for the skate park? Yeah, they're constant they're constantly taping. The storage capacity on the server is 2 weeks. So, we see in the morning an issue that happened overnight, we can go back and pull up the tape and find out what took place. And they do have the infrared, the night vision on those. So whether there's light or not, we'll be able to see what's happening. Yeah. Mhm.
Excellent. Are we ready to move on to 9.2?
So there isn't much to report on Parks in Progress. A lot of this has been in the works for some time, so a lot of these applicants and developers have been busy processing comments that we've given back to them. And the only changes thus far have been Central Park. Those Mylars have been signed, which is great. The only thing we're waiting for is final approval of the Loop Road improvement plans. Again, the Loop Roads are the ones that basically tee off of the roundabout, the Oak Tree roundabout, and connect the park and the City Hall site back to Menifee Town Center Drive. Once those get final approval, the contractor, the developer Regent will be able to move very quickly on them. They are eager to do it. And I think it's an added incentive for the rest of the parcels that they're still trying to sell. And as you may have already heard, Krikorian Theater did close on their parcel, and staff is simply waiting for them to submit their working drawings. So, the only other one is that you heard the presentation from Salt Creek Trail, and their tentative construction timeline is to begin in 2017-18. They have said that they've received all the funding they need for the Menifee segment.
I'll see if I can twist an arm a little bit.
Good idea.
Doubt it.
Excellent. Thank you for the update. How about item 9.3?
Good evening, Commissioners. Jason Hendricks, Community Services Supervisor. It's my pleasure this evening to give you an update on Recreation Program, our Recreation Division report for the month of January. We had a great first month back of the new year. Staff are working very hard to really connect with the community, and we're doing some great things at the centers and out at our events and things that we're getting ready to roll out for the remainder of the year. You'll see in front of you some of the statistics for the last month. Senior Center, we had close to 2,500 participants for the month through our classes, programs, services, and of course the FSA provided senior nutrition program. Excuse me. Lazy Creek, we had our after-school program that continues to average about 20 participants daily. And then our Lazy Creek preschool program, which averages about 76 participants per month, give or take a few. Did want to point out that in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be experiencing a transition for that program. We're going to be going from a contract ran program in our preschool program to an in-house program that will be run by city staff. We're currently going through a recruitment process. We hope to have new instructors on board within the next couple of weeks. They'll be going through a pretty extensive interview process with us, and then we will select the best candidates, and they'll be running that program in-house effective February 22nd. So we're excited to take that program over and have a new connection with our community through that particular program, which is very popular. We'll also be able to do some new things to enhance the curriculum that's offered, as well as enhance some of the end-of-the-year components that they typically have. We will be rebranding it too. It's no longer going to be referred to as the preschool program. It's now going to be called Tiny Tots. So if you hear us referring to a different program, it's no longer preschool. It's now Tiny Tots and run in-house.
Okay.
Contract classes, we're starting to get some momentum with those. We have our yoga class is getting a little bit bigger, so we had some more participants for that. Taekwondo experienced a pretty significant increase in their numbers. So our numbers are going up for our contract classes. We're still aggressively recruiting new and innovative classes to offer to the residents. We have some pretty exciting things that will be coming out in the Menifee Matters, including some healthy cooking classes specifically for kids. So we'll be advertising those in our Menifee Matters and then through flyers and press releases and flyers to the schools and social media, of course. Our sports field allocations, Christina and I just completed our allocation process. We're really happy to report that our soccer leagues, which sometimes can be a little difficult because there is a shortage of soccer fields and a lot of players that want to play soccer, they were able to come together, and there was 5 groups that came together, and they all figured out a way that would basically divide the soccer fields up that we do have to allocate out evenly, and so everybody was happy with the solution. So it was really a great thing to see, and we're really happy with the progress that they made, because the last one wasn't as civil, but I think they learn from their mistakes and realize that it's easier to come together on a process like that and just try to make everybody accommodated. So that was great. So we have 5 leagues approximately right now in January. It's about 225 residents. You'll see a huge increase on that next month, because we'll have our baseball field teams out there. We'll have all of our soccer teams out there Monday through Friday and some games on Sundays. I do also want to point out that the last couple of weeks we've had an adult soccer league using Audie Murphy Ranch Sports Park on Sunday evenings. It's actually called the Menifee Adult Soccer League. It's run by an individual here in the community, and he's averaging about 8 teams per tournament. He's basically just running individual little tournaments out there, but he eventually wants to turn that into a league, and so far it's been great. Nothing but high praises for it. They have a social media account if you'd like to check it out, and you'll see some pictures from the different games that they've had so far. So it's been a good experience and just something else that we can offer to our residents. And then one more thing I wanted to point out that is not on your PowerPoint. On January 19th, the Youth Advisory Committee held a very special joint strategic planning session with the City of Paris Youth Advisory Committee. And the advisors from the Paris Youth Advisory Committee, myself and Aisha, put together a very nice day for them that was led by the youth. We had youth presenters talking about different initiatives that the youth could pick up for the upcoming year. And they just did a great job working together to talk about how they can kind of make these initiatives come to fruition. So we're really excited about the progress that they made. We had 26 total participants there from Paris and Menifee together. And we hope to invite Marietta and Temecula next time. We already have commitments from their liaisons that they'll be out at our next time that we have a joint meeting. So we're really excited about that progress that's being made there.
Jay, can I interrupt you?
Absolutely.
Or ask you a question regarding that? So, typically Youth Advisory Committee talks and the dynamic is it's Menifee. Now you're combining with Paris's Youth Advisory Committee. Did you find anything interesting being a little bit more regional coverage, and did they have anything different than what's typically talked about as far as youth advisory? And I'm just curious about, to me it sounds like a great idea, and I'm really excited to hear if there was something that came out of that's something we hadn't thought about before, and maybe
I think the best way to answer that is to say that the thing they discovered the most is that they face the same kind of challenges. So funding, inability to reach some of the kids that they really need to reach because they're not necessarily interested in hearing the same message. The greatest thing about it, I think, was that our kids are a little bit more introverted. They're not necessarily the kinds that are going to want to go out and do a lot of team building or, some of the games that you sometimes have to do to get teens closer together. Yeah. But we watched them kind of start very hesitant to participate in anything, and toward the end of the day, we had some team building activities they did together with Paris where we saw a whole new side of them. So I think that might have been an eye-opening experience for them, that they do have the ability to connect with other kids, even though they may not necessarily do it out loud and like the other groups do. But the greatest thing that we saw was that it was primarily youth-led, and we didn't have to feed them a whole lot of information on initiatives they should consider picking up. They designed them. There was anti-bullying, texting while driving, bringing awareness to safe teen dating activities. It was just a great day.
I'm really glad you guys did that, Marty.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, was it ever discussed that facilities could be shared?
Definitely, yeah. Paris actually opened up their teen center that they have for us to come out to experience some of their events that they do. They're teen-oriented. They have a gym also that we've talked about doing some joint uses with together, mainly more for the teen-oriented crowd, but yeah, definitely. We've had a really great relationship since I've been here with the City of Paris. They've been very accommodating and giving us some information, some things to try out, and then now obviously opening up their facility for us to come out. So our next meeting will actually be in Paris, where we'll invite Marietta and Temecula also.
I was just wondering because obviously they have a gym, we don't.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if they're willing to share, that's wonderful.
We would love to have that opportunity. All right. And I believe that's it for the Recreation Division report. Do you have any additional questions?
Thank you very much,
Thank
Jay.
you.
Item 9.4, special events. No, don't get too far away.
Thought I had a little break there. Okay, so special events update. We didn't have any special events in the month of January other than, of course, the event I just mentioned with the Youth Advisory Committee. But as far as citywide special events, we are back in full force getting ready for some upcoming events that'll finish out the fiscal year for us. The next one we have coming up is our Spring Fest. That'll be March 19th at La Ladera Park. We're actively getting ready for that. We're actually bringing back the Easter egg hunt. So we're excited and cautiously optimistic that that'll go real well for us. I know it's going to bring out a lot of kids, so we're being very strategic about how we do that to make sure all the kids get a fair amount of eggs, and we have some in reserve just in case some kids walk out empty-handed or with less than kids that bring a whole basket or something. We're actively seeking volunteers because we want to have a lot of adult volunteers in the egg hunt zones, because if you've ever been to one, you know it can get a little bit out of hand. But we do have a lot of activities planned there, from kids zone jump houses and inflatable obstacle courses to live performances, which will actually be our contract classes that'll be out there showcasing what they do and what they've learned so far through our programs. That will be the form of entertainment, including live music, or music as well, with a DJ there. We're going to have a wiffle ball tournament at the end for all families to compete in. So really just trying to bring some new activities for the event and make it bigger and better than it has been in the past. Then, of course, on April 23rd, Menifee Better Together over in Quail Valley and Sun City. We are hoping that everybody will register to help out with that. It's just a really great opportunity to give back to your community and continue to beautify all of Menifee. If individuals are interested in registering to volunteer for that event, we encourage you to register at justserve.org. So if any of you have contacts that may be interested in volunteering, please refer them to that website, and we're checking that pretty regularly to see what the count is, because the Habitat for Humanity, who's one of our key partners for the event, brings in a lot of volunteers, but we want to be able to bring in a good amount of volunteers for our portions as well.
Just a quick correction on that. It actually begins at 8 a.m. With a kickoff at the Sun City Civic Association.
And then also at the end of the event, there's a free barbecue for all the volunteers that help out, which is provided this year by Evans Brown Mortuary. So thank you to Evans Brown. There will be the barbecue at the end to thank the volunteers. They'll also get a free T-shirt with all the sponsors on the back that have helped us out with the event.
Awesome.
Then the event that we had talked about a little bit last time, but I didn't have a date, and actually I apologize, the date on this is wrong. It's April 17th is our pitch, hit, and run event. I mentioned it very briefly at the last meeting. We have our kit from Major League Baseball in our office now, and we have some clarification. There's actually a new portion that was added. So they compete here at our local competition. The winners in each age group, which is the top 3 in each age group, go on to compete at a regional competition against other kids from other cities. And then if they advance past that, then they go on to participate at a Major League ballpark in those competitions. So really great opportunity, totally free. All they have to do is bring a birth certificate. And the great thing is it's open for kids in baseball and softball. So boys and girls are encouraged to compete in this event.
May I go? You're asking the girls to bring a birth certificate?
We're asking everybody. It's a requirement of the program for them to bring a birth certificate. But it's youth. It's 7 to 15, so. Yeah, no. Small price to pay for possibly playing on a big league ball field. And that's at Audie Murphy Ranch on April 17th from 4 to 7 p.m. And then our Memorial Day Remembrance Ceremony is May 30th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Wheatfield Park. I'll have guest speakers, activities for the entire family, remembrance ceremonies. We do have the bricks available for purchase, some memorial bricks. You can contact City Hall for that information, as well as, of course, a military banner program that we really encourage people to get involved in to honor their veteran in their life. We also wanted to point out that Robert Bruni and I had an opportunity to meet with folks from the Romoland School District this week, and we also have had some conversations with the Menifee Union School District about potential and possible collaborations moving forward. So we want to definitely point that out, that those are definitely moving forward. Our original plan was to try to get an ACES program, which is a grant-funded after-school program through the California Department of Education, potentially this year. Unfortunately, we were not aware of the deadline, and the deadline is February 12th. So the district felt that it would be in our best interest to put together basically an exploratory committee to start working on getting that application ready for the next school year, which would be 2017-2018. So we're excited that Menifee Union is interested in participating in that. And Romoland already has a pretty well-established ACES program, but we are going to begin marketing a little bit more out to the Romoland folks, as well as having one of our signature special events, which is our Movies in the Park. We've identified Romoland School through partnership with the school district as one of the sites for the Movies in the Park this year. So more details to follow on that, but that'll probably be in late June.
I'm glad you guys are reaching out to our northern boundary. That's good.
Yeah, and they were very happy to see us and very open to all types of collaborations, including potential joint use agreements for fields. So we're definitely going to foster that relationship and try to see that through.
Good job.
I'd like to see that field up at Marion Ashley Center worn out.
I would too. All right.
Excellent. Thanks,
Thank you, guys.
Jason. All right, Mark, you're up. 9-5.
Good evening, everyone. How's everybody tonight? Good, good, good. Quick little overview. We did 81 work requests last month, keeping us busy as usual. We're up to 395 year to date. And just give you a little bit on this, we did complete the LED upgrade over at Lazy Creek Park, and if nobody's had an opportunity to go out there. We've gotten a lot of compliments from the neighbors. You can actually see across the whole park to the block wall. So people that live around there, they like it. So it was a huge difference. So yeah, we've had an ongoing issue at Lolladera Park on the walk trail that goes up to the top trail on the side, washing out. We've got sandbags in there. We've basically rebuilt it. Spent a couple of days rebuilding it, so it's good. Hopefully we can work on something permanent later down the road.
That's a DG trail?
That's the DG trail that goes up. It's just been a washout. So basically, I had some extra sand at my house, so the guys did bags, filled them up at my house for free and, put them all down the trail. So we'll get it all shored up because we are expecting some more rain, I've heard, but we'll see. So
To add a little more information on that site as well, you all know that just behind it is the site of a future school. And our discussion, as Jason mentioned, with the school district superintendent, they're very interested in a joint use that could possibly see a sharing of athletic space, recreation space, so that they wouldn't have to, forfeit all of the parcel for the school, or a large portion of it to athletic fields, and instead maximize their classroom space, which they have a shortage of every place. And so then when they bond to build that school, we would pitch in as well as them to expand the park and probably chop down a portion of that hill and create more play space. And part of it includes eliminating that DG trail and doing something alternative with the slope.
right. I also want to add with that new track going in there, the reclaimed water is supposed to be coming close to Lolladera. So if we can get close enough, we could actually back charge the system and get off that potable water. Because I'll tell you that park is very, very expensive to keep watered.
A lot
so
of grass.
oh, it's terrible. So in that picture up here, you can see some of the valve boxes. My guys have been out there this J-Bar Ranch area. Anyway, it's really been let go over the years, and we kind of inherited it November 1st. So we've really gone down and tried to get everything back up, dead material out, gophers. It's been a battle. So you can see the old on the left, the roots. It took them probably an hour and a half to 2 hours just to dig the boxes out. So, and on the right-hand side, you can see where it's all up to our standard with the gravel in there. So that all of Scott Road is complete right now with new valve boxes. We actually have ordered some new clocks for that area, solar, because part of it has electric, part of it doesn't. So we're going to a couple of solar clocks. So hopefully we can keep everybody happy over there. We're trying to move forward on it every day. So hopefully, and we can't do any plannings until the freeze is over. So March, we're already setting, we already have a list, some iceberg roses, red and white, just kind of give them a little color out in front there. I think it might make everybody happy. So there's some pics for you. Let's see here. Real quick, continue to have issues at the skate park. I got a call from Bryce the other day. I went down there. We sat there for an hour waiting for the police to come while kids were smoking pot and drinking beer inside of the park. We had some kids setting some fires on the outside, part of it inside, but, pulling stuff out of the trash and catching stuff on fire. So it's just been an ongoing thing. And Lieutenant Fellows, I've been in contact with him, and he's increased the patrols. They're actually doing radar there now, and it's amazing when the cops show up, all the bad kids leave. It really changes. All the good kids stay. So that's helped out a lot, seeing the police presence. So J-Bar Ranch, already talked about that. Soccer field, we're looking at April 4th. We're going to do a 6 to 8 week, depending on how the grass comes, doing a renovation at the AMLR soccer fields. It's in really rough shape because it does get used so much. So we're set to do that. Let's see, we've been off at all the areas, water since Thanksgiving. We had one water last week, just with a little warm temperatures. So, you know, a lot of the bills are coming in, and it's a big goose egg. And, you know, so we're trying to save and, you know, no problems along the way. We just we're getting 3 CalSense clocks to upgrade them, and we'll be complete on all the CalSense clocks. I just gave it to Joe today, so we should have that probably in the next 30 days, and we'll be complete. Everything's communicating. You know, we'll move forward from there.
Great. Very informative. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
If I might add something, I just want to compliment the Mark and the 3 guys of the crew for hard work, diligent work that they do. They do cover a large area for 3 staff. It's amazing what they do, and I just want to thank Mark and the staff for doing that, especially the Scott Road job. They have the park half on the sidewalk, half on the road, and you got, you know, basically a little mini freeway going through there. So they have to be really cautious of that, and then trying to work on their objective there to get that irrigation system up and running. So I just want to make sure that they get their just rewards for that job that they do.
Excellent. Very good. Anything else from community services? All right. Thank you. We'll move on to item 10, commissioner reports. Anybody would like to give us any updates or share any thoughts and comments? Rick? Okay, I do have one, and it's an idea. It has to do with the Krikorian Theater. You said that they're going to be submitting some working drawings here, and city staff's going to start looking at those. In the past, the Arts Council has talked to Nick Byro from Regent and shared an idea, desire, a thought that we had, and that was that whoever the theater developer is, if they would be amenable to the idea of creating one of the theaters that still remains able to show movies, but if they could just build a little bit more of a stage and maybe add some ability to have some spotlights or something, and the idea would be to have performing art opportunities for the community to use on a small scale. It might even turn out to be beneficial to the theater developer in that when he's got, I don't know, is it an 8-plex or 10 or 12? However many they have, if it's a slow weekend or something, we may pack the place with a performance or a recital or something like that. So I don't know what the process is to get that idea to the right people here, city staff, if it's Mr. Brady or whoever it is, but that's something that I'd love to have some help on and make sure that that doesn't vaporize, and whoever would like to carry the torch there. But it's something that the arts folks have been talking about for a while, and we're just not really sure. We've been kind of waiting to see who it is and when they come on board, and it sounds like the time is now. If they're going to be submitting drawings, we're going to want to get ahead of that. And so if you could help me with that, that'd be great.
Good idea.
That's a wonderful idea. It's really retro. There was a theater like that in Culver City where I grew up, where they would have the stage available, and you would have bands in there and plays and stuff like that, so that you have maximum use of the facility. Because at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday or something like that, you could even have play rehearsals and stuff like that, which is just using the facility to its fullest.
Yep.
That'd be great.
So anyway, I appreciate the opportunity if you can carry that or help me carry that. All right, let's move to future agenda requests. Anybody have anything new they want to add to the list? Do we have any updates on anything that's starting to move forward, Robert?
No, I'll just apologize on one that got left off. If this one was on the last one, which is the historical monuments. So I know that
We're going to try to get
there.
together real soon here.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, well, how about a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. And Tom seconds. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.